week. So if you apply on the 13th, if you haven't heard from us by mid-July, yeah, have a word with us.
But we should, you should get emails. Hannah's going to be sending all those out to say, we still got your application, you know, we're getting through everything. So you should receive regular updates. They might not be complete personal ones. It might just be more of a blanket kind of,
I see.
we've got it, working on it, it's happening. So yeah, if you've got a personal question, definitely get in touch, but we should be in comms anyway to say, the ball is rolling.
Yeah,
perfect.
It's all in-house.
And when is the actual moving in date? Are they different for the different accommodations?
So they do vary. I think Glenside is sometimes a little bit earlier.
It can be, yeah. So some of the courses start early. If you are a student and you know that the course you applied to is early start, your accommodation will match that.
Nice. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Great to know.
Yeah.
And does that apply like for students who are experiencing starter block and things like that as well? Because I know that happens a little bit earlier. I mean, when I studied at UWE Bristol, and my starter block I think started like the first week of September, and then my course started in October. So if I was in that situation, I could be in my accommodation before it's all started and relaxing, having a good time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic. Any other general bits of advice you guys want to give out before we move on to the student?
No, I don't think so. I think we've said it quite a bit, but I think the main thing is just, if you're worried, if you're panicked, if you've got anything, just get in touch.
Yes.
Just pick up the phone,
I have
put an email.
Use a laptop when you're putting your application in.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
So it can be quite fiddly on a phone. It's sort of a web-based one, so it's best to do it on a nice big screen, really see everything, and hopefully you won't encounter any technical hitches that way as well. So that's really
I'm a
important.
big believer in that. Whenever I'm doing any form, even if it's not that serious, I got to be on a laptop or a computer, a PC of some kind. You know, when you're on your phone, so many things can go wrong. Also, don't know.
Swipe away.
So accidentally click back and I've just lost it all.
Yeah.
Or like with me, I'm terrible at spelling when I'm texting on my phone.
Yeah, autocorrects your name. Something mad.
But it sounds like you guys got a busy couple of months coming up.
Oh yeah.
You know, so
we'll
we do appreciate you guys being here today. I believe we actually do have some photos as well of our different accommodations that we can show you guys. So we've got several accommodations across the city centre and in Frenchay campus. The most recent in Frenchay campus is Per Down View. Is absolutely stunning accommodation, brand new in 2024 for anyone applying now, alongside all the other fantastic accommodations in the city centre and in Glenside, like we mentioned. But now I am very happy to say that we actually have got a first-hand experience now right joining us. We have Lydia, a student who's been living in Phoenix Court, a city centre accommodation, for the better part of a year, haven't you?
Yeah, that's right.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for being here today. I know it's a bit nerve-wracking being on camera, but I'm sure many people appreciate you being here to answer their questions. We are going to get to the questions very shortly. We're just going to have a very quick conversation, and I'm seeing them all coming through on my iPad, so we will get to them. Thank you very much for keeping those submitting. So, Lydia, how was the application process of actually applying for the accommodation?
It was quite a while ago now, but I remember it being quite straightforward. I think there was a preferences where you put your favourite accommodation to your least favourite.
Nice. I
remember on the day I didn't have much Wi-Fi, so I was struggling, but then I still got a really good placement, so it's good.
That was a bit of a moment of panic. Well, what would you say to any students that are sort of experiencing a bit of nerves about applying for university and just living in accommodation in general for their first year?
I'd say it's fair to be nervous because I think everyone is nervous. But I don't think there's a need to be because it's quite a straightforward process. Everyone's in the same boat as you, and it's a really fun experience.
Oh, fantastic. What would you say is your favourite part of living on an accommodation so far?
I really like living away from my parents.
Yeah.
The freedom I get is just great. Yeah. And then also just being right in the city centre is so great, being just near to everything I need to be.
That's interesting. Would you say that living in the city centre had benefits that maybe living on campus didn't?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, I've only lived in the city centre. It's a bit annoying having to get the bus in, but apart from that, it's just great. Being all the restaurants, all of my friends and other accommodations nearby.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
I suppose it's easy to walk to Cabot Circus, Bristol City Centre, apply for some jobs, you know, get some part-time things going. I things like that. What have been your sort of highlights of living in accommodation so far? Any key moments that stick out?
I guess it's just really nice when I get my friends who also live in Phoenix Court, and we usually all meet in my room together, and like we're doing pancakes tonight.
Oh wow!
We did like a Christmas dinner as well, so it's just really
lovely.
nice having that space to use.
I see. And do you think it's enriched your experience in first year living in accommodation? Do you think you wouldn't have got the same experience if you lived at home?
Yeah, I'd say definitely. I mean, I only live 40 minutes away, so I could have lived at home, but living in accommodation has just been great for me. I'm so happy I did it.
Do you have any friends that live on French A or Glenside on the actual campus accommodations?
Not that I know of, no.
No,
They're
no.
all in the city because they all do filmmaking.
Wow. That's fantastic. What would you say is like something for people to look out for their first week? Is there any tips you can give? Like maybe something you forgot that your parents had to send to you, or something that you brought that you're like, I've never used this?
Well, I completely forgot to bring my camera, which I really wanted, so I had to wait to go back.
Oh, bless.
I was mostly using all the packing lists I found online, so I don't think I missed anything. I'd say if I got another, like a stirrer for a frying pan, I wouldn't get one with holes in, because it's been such a pain to use and to clean. But that's all.
Oh, well, I mean, it sounds like you're organised. I mean, when I went to university, I forgot most things, but lucky enough, my mum was 10 minutes down the road. So, is there anything that you'd like to say to students that are applying? Do you like to just say, like, you know what, guys, it's all going to be okay? You know, a bit of reassurance.
You know what, guys, it's all going to be okay.
Very nice.
No, but generally, it's been so fun, and it's so nervous meeting your flatmates for the first time, but mine have been such lovely people that it's really no need to worry.
Were there any icebreakers that you gave, like, you know?
Me and my flatmate, we did go out on the first night, and that was quite fun, but she's into quite different music from me, so we didn't go out yet.
You're there listening to drum and bass, like,
It was drum and bass.
I'm more of a singer-songwriter, but, you know, drum and bass has a big scene in Bristol, doesn't it?
It really does.
So now I think it's about time that we move on to the actual questions, because we've got so many questions here that have piled in from people. Some have submitted questions over the last week on social media. Some people are typing them in right now. So my first question is actually for you. So it's, what are the security measures in any of the accommodations? And that's from Joanne.
So our security is really tight, up on French A campus, Glenside, and in the city centre. So there's 24-hour security, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. They'll patrol campus, just making sure everything's safe. There's no big hoo-ha's going on. But your key card is also really important. So it looks a little bit like my fob. And that will get you into, if you're in Student Village, let's say, that's going to get you through the pavilion, it's going to get you through your block door, it's going to get you through your flat door, and then into your bedroom. Wow. So once you're in your bedroom, that's like your little fortress, and you've got lots of security around you. They're all the actual security people. They are on the phone all the time as well, so you can contact them. It's just a really lovely, safe and secure.
Oh, fantastic. Out of curiosity, what would happen if you lose your card? Is there like, do you speak to security about that?
So obviously we say try not to lose your card, but we're all human, it happens. If it happens in the daytime, you can come and see one of our customer services desks. So on French A, we've got them up in M Block, we've got them in the Cotswold Pavilion. I think it's going to be Cotswold next year as well. We've also got them on Glenside. City Centre, I think it's best if you just go down to reception and check what that building provider says. But in the day, we can replace it. If it happens at night, you phone security. They give you kind of like a temporary hotel key kind of thing. Yeah. And then the next day, just come and see us and we'll sort you out on your key.
I know that you must have had to say that 1,000 times because I'm so impressed that you knew straight off the back the different blocks of where it all was. I would have been a nightmare remembering that information. So now I have one for you actually. So what's been the best part about living in student accommodation? I think you partially answered that, but we can also repeat it.
So I'd say again, being in the city centre, being near everything, having friends that live in the same buildings, really nice meeting up with them, and just being away, being on my own and being able to be independent. Yeah,
independency. I think it's something we all value with university. Yeah. So the next question I have is, what accommodation support has been available to you? And that's for you as well.
I'd say the maintenance team has been really helpful. If anything breaks, they come straight away. It's so easy to put in a complaint on the app. I just do it straight away, and they usually come within the week.
Oh, wow.
And they've managed to fix everything so far. Not that there's been many breakings, but yeah.
Wow, I mean, that's better than my landlord. Are mini refrigerators, actually, they put very formally, allowed in any of the accommodations?
So It's best to not bring things like that. If it's for a medical purpose, you can bring it. They need to be PAT tested, and you need written permission from your accommodation manager. This is all in our managed. Again, if you're in the city centre, check with your building provider. But we say if it's anything like that, it needs to be kept in the kitchen. So that goes for your coffee machine, that goes for your air fryer, that goes for your NutriBullet, all of that. Keep them in the kitchen. Your bedrooms are supposed to be for sleeping and studying and all of that sort of thing.
Very good point. Yeah. Fantastic. Now, are there any shops, gyms, or places to socialise near your student accommodation in Phoenix Court?
You've got the best.
There's loads. There's loads. I mean, Cabot Circus is literally a 30-second walk away from Phoenix Court. There's a gym right around the corner. There's just loads of cafes. And even in Phoenix Court itself, of socialising, it's got the common room with the table tennis and the pool and the TV. Yep. So there's loads.
I actually went to Phoenix Court as well, and I've got good memories of that place.
It's good, isn't it?
And what I always appreciate of Phoenix Court is that I don't know if this is true, but I always thought the washing was a lot cheaper than it was else places, because I had friends who lived in different accommodations, and the washing was always slightly more expensive there. But maybe that's just me. So how does the institution support students faced with difficult roommates? That's a good question.
Yeah, so we are on hand all the time. So we have a whole team of accommodation managers, and they are designated to set buildings. They really get to know the residents. You will get to know them as well. They become a bit of a familiar face. I like to think of them as bridging the gap between parents and older siblings. So they're kind of there to look after you, make sure that everyone's getting on.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so they're nice. You can look after them. A lot of them have done it before as well, so they've been there. Yeah. But if you're naughty, they will discipline you.
Ooh,
so
okay.
Don't be doing that. But, so they're there. If you do have difficult flatmates, again, send us an email. The accommodation managers will come round. At first, we always try and fix the problem in-house.
Yeah.
We don't want to be moving people around. We want to make sure that everyone's getting on and we can work through problems. If that really doesn't work, we can look at possibly moving you, but that really is a last resort. So it's always best to mediate.
Fantastic. It really does sound like there's a community kind of vibe, and like people really try to push that in all the accommodations. I have one actually that might potentially reveal something about yourself. Is how do you manage the cleaning and household chores? I know as a student, I just didn't. So how do you go on?
I just kind of hope someone will empty the bins, and sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. In my flat, there's only 3 of us, so I'd say we're quite clean generally anyway.
Oh, that's nice.
But yeah, it's just kind of hoping that people clean up. And then I know a lot of people used to have group chats, so they can be like, guys, who left all this rubbish on the side?
Yeah, so you guys don't have like a rota or anything like that? Yeah, see, I lived with 3 other guys, so it was just a Hail Mary in my situation. Are you allowed to live in the same building as your friends, or is it random within each campus?
So it's a mixture of both, I would say. When it comes to the application form, there is a section where you can put in, if you know someone from home and you really want to live with them and they're coming to UWE as well, you can put in their name, and I think you have to have their student ID as well. There's also an additional information box on the application form, so you can put a little bit more preference in there. So I would prefer a quieter flat. We'll try and match people who have said I would prefer a quieter flat into there. You can also put, we don't really want you to put more than one person's name in, but you know, if you really want to live with people that you're sort of familiar with, or your course mates, that kind of thing, we will look at it, because everything is allocated by a human. So we read every single application that comes in.
I think you've actually partially answered another question that was for you, which is there a matching process to put you with like-minded people? And it sounds like you very much could if you requested it.
If you put it into the additional information box, we will read it. We'll have a look at what you would prefer.
What you would prefer?
Yeah.
What happens if we get an accommodation choice that's too expensive?
So it's a tricky one, because of the way the rankings work, you could get something that is more within your budget, something that goes out of your budget. Again, additional information, it's important to put some form of like range in there that you can look at.
I see.
We can't make any promises. I think that's something that it needs to be sort of taken away from this, is we consider everything promise nothing.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good motto. The next question again is for you. I promise we will have more questions. Can a second year stay in uni accommodation if they didn't live in uni accommodation in their first year?
Primarily, we keep it for first years because it's getting everyone who hasn't experienced uni or UWE Bristol or Bristol in general together in one place to build that community. I mean, email in, but I'm going to have to probably say no.
Nice. This question actually could potentially relate to both of you. Are there any holidays that students are required to be off campus and out of accommodation? No? None at all?
No. So your contract, depending on your building, most contracts are 42 weeks. Glenside are 45 because we take into consideration placement and time away for that. But you don't have to go home for the holidays. So there's a winter holiday and a spring holiday, but it's yours to stay there.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And how did you actually find that process? Did you leave the accommodation during like the Christmas break and like now coming up to summer break?
Yeah, I've gone, because I'm so close as well, it's so easy for me to go back and forth. But I've just kind of looked at what everyone else is doing, and sometimes I've gone back, sometimes I stayed. I mean, we did our Christmas dinner, so it's close enough to Christmas.
Yeah.
But no, I just travel back and forth as needs, and I don't have to worry because I can lock my door and it's fine.
Yeah, I was going to say, is there any sort of advice you can maybe give for people like leaving their room? Like, oh, maybe hide your pots and pans, those type of things?
I mean, I've not had that problem. I guess keep your most valuable things in your room and lock your room. It's so easy, just tap your key card. But apart from that, I think you'll be okay, hopefully.
Fantastic. And the next question is actually, once again, for you, is what was moving in like?
I'd say it's quite straightforward. We just rolled up. There was lots of workers at the entrance and they told us where to go. And then I went to the front desk, they gave me my key card and I just went up and I loaded all my stuff into my room.
Fantastic.
So it's fairly straightforward.
And you're very popular. We've got another question for you. What do you do to socialise?
Me and my friends usually go out into the town or we'll meet up in my flat and socialise there. We usually play a lot of Uno.
Oh, nice. And like you described they were course mates, a lot of the people you've met. So is the course like a good opportunity to meet people or inside your accommodation?
I'd say so. In my course, which is filmmaking, we have like a massive group chat, so everyone has made friends from that.
Oh, nice.
I'd say to meet other people out the course, you probably want to join like societies and clubs and things like that.
I see. And I've got a question for you. Can I apply for accommodation if my visa is not yet accepted?
So as long as you've got your student ID number, you can make your application for accommodation. And we do recommend that you can just get that in as soon as possible. If your visa comes through after, that's absolutely fine. If your visa doesn't come through, again, we'll just move your application on. You'll get your advance rent payment refunded to you. Everything's all in hand. So yeah, we can take applications without visas.
Perfect. And I got another question right off the bat for you, so you can't sit still too long. It's, can you choose specifically Wolves Court House with a shared bedroom, or is it just French shared and then you get allocated at random?
It is just French shared.
I see.
So the reason why we've done that is because because buildings are mixture of bathrooms, and we've discovered that that's what people are quite sort of focused on. So if we can separate into location and bathroom type, it's a little bit easier to make sure that you're more likely to get what you're going to get. But the rankings will set like that. Again, additional information. If you've really got your heart set on a Wolves Court Park house, and they are really nice, I think they're my favourites. Not that I have bias. Then put that in the additional information. Again, we can't promise.
Can't promise, but you can certainly tell.
Exactly.
So next one is also for you. Can the 42-week contract be extended as my course is 1 year, brackets 52 weeks?
Okay, so we do offer some forms of summer extensions. In fact, we've got people moving in this weekend for them. So you can move around. It's likely that you won't be able to stay in that room. What we do is we move everyone into one section of the accommodation. So this year everyone is moving into Purdown. Last year everyone was in Wolves Court. It's just so we can make any refurbishments and stuff like that. But we tend to email out about extending contracts over summer. I think we do it around March, April time. So there's enough time, but you will probably have to move rooms at least. But it's not too much when you're just moving.
But you've still got a place to stay. Fantastic. Yeah. And can parents stay in accommodation to help settling in?
So for the move-in period, what we do recommend is a period of quiet without sort of outside parties coming in. I can't remember off the top of my head the time period, but I think it's 2 weeks after move-in, might be 4 weeks after move-in. We don't allow visitors to stay overnight.
Okay.
They're obviously welcome to come in the day, but when it gets to sundown, not to sound like a vampire, but they have to go away for the day. They're welcome to stay in hotels nearby and stuff like that. After that period is over, you can submit a visitor application form. It's really quick, it's really easy, it's nothing scary. And visitors can stay 2 consecutive nights in 7.
Oh, fantastic. And I know that you only live 40 minutes away, but did you experience any sort of like homesickness? Like that might relate to that person's question, or maybe you had a flatmate or a course mate that felt a bit homesick, missed their parents?
Yeah, I think a lot of people I've known have felt quite homesick.
Yeah.
Just being away like that, and then having to do all the cooking themselves and the cleaning, it's like such a big difference to what a lot of people are used to.
I feel like one of the curses of adulthood is having to choose what to eat every day. As a kid, you're like, I can't wait to start cooking my own meals, and then you get to it and it's like, oh my god, what am I going to cook today? And again, tomorrow is relentless.
And the washing up never ends.
I need to get a dishwasher, I'm telling you. Can someone studying for a foundation year stay in a uni accommodation?
Yeah, so you can stay for your foundation year, but then you won't be eligible for your first year. Technically your second year, but actually your first year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're foundation or first year, you can apply.
Fantastic. And what accommodation would suit someone studying at Glenside who wants to live on an ensuite? So that's a very specific question. I'm testing your accommodation knowledge here.
So most of Glenside, because it's historic, it's listed, we can't make many changes to it. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. If you sort of like boarding school Harry Potter vibes, it's great.
Oh, nice.
But it is all shared bathroom. The Hollies over the road has very limited en suites.
Okay.
So your best bet would probably be still put Glenside at the top, because it really depends on if you really want an ensuite or if you really want to be close to your lectures. Other than that, I'd say go for a Frenchie.
Okay.
So Frenchie ensuite would be your next choice, because there's lots of options. So we've got like 2,000 beds in the student village. We've got, I think, about 600 coming in per down that are ensuite. So we've got lots and lots of ensuites. And Glenside to Frenchie is about a 25-minute walk. Yeah. Or if it's raining, you get the bus, you get the 48, or I think they've changed the number now.
48, there's the 48, and I think there's another 40 bus as well.
So there's loads of buses that you can take there, but it's a really nice walk through Stoke Park, actually.
Yeah, it is, and you've got Snuff Mills as well in between it. There's a lot of nice walks near Frenchie in the Glenside area. So the next question, I think you have partially answered this, but are there any rules of having friends over throughout the year? Do we need to check? Do we need to ask?
Yeah, so it's the visitor policy. So it's a really quick form. It's online. It's on our Student Life website, which is kind of like our accommodation hub, our social hub. So you just put an application through on that. We don't really ever refuse them unless they've got prior history, shall we say. And you can stay overnight, 2 nights and 7, but what's really important to remember is they are your responsibility. So if they misbehave, then it reflects on you.
Yeah.
So it's just sort of just be respectful.
So maybe if you've got like a troublemaking friend from home who wants to stay, be like, you know what? I'm a bit slammed with uni work at the moment. I like that.
There's a Holiday Inn down the road.
You just go to the Premier Inn, mate. Does the uni support students to find second-year accommodation?
The Students' Union is really great at that. So the team that I work in and my job is just focusing on our accommodation, but we work really closely with the Students' Union, who look after like the private sector. So they talk to a lot of estate agents, they talk to a lot of landlords, they have an accommodation fair. I think that's sort of like November, December time.
Okay.
It's quite early, but it's
best to
good
get on it early.
Exactly, especially in Bristol. So they are really great at that, and they have loads of resources and support, and they'll vet your contract and your landlord and all of that.
So fantastic. Yeah. How did you actually find, because obviously you're leaving Phoenix Court soon and moving into your second year accommodation. How was that sort of process?
Well, I did go on the UWE websites actually, and I had to look at the agencies that they approved, and we found Balloon Lettings, I think it's called.
Really
so they were really good. So we looked at quite a few different places. We found a really nice one in Hotwells, so really happy to be moving there.
Fantastic. And this is a bit of a specific question. What is the distance between Frenchay campus and the city centre accommodation? I think you'll probably be good to answer for that. Have you got the specific miles?
I don't ever go to Frenchay, so I'm not sure. I guess you might know better.
So I actually live in the city centre myself. I live probably about a 10-minute walk from Phoenix Court as well. So there's loads of buses that run from the city centre up to Frenchay, up to Glenside and to Bower. So the city centre is a really nice central location to come from. It's one of the metro buses. You can get the M1, the M3 or the M4.
Yeah.
I think I can be on my sofa to my desk in 25 minutes.
Honestly, it is fantastic.
It's really good.
I got to say, I'm not just hyping this up because it's UWE. When they first introduced the M-Bus, as someone who's lived in Bristol my whole life, they are fantastic. And I can be in the city centre for 8 o'clock and then be at my desk, like you said, at 8:15.
They're really great.
It is fantastic. How do you find it getting to, because you study at Bower Ashton, where we are right now, but you live in the city centre. Have you got any advice? How long is that journey, that travel for anyone who's living in city, studying in Bower?
I'd say the whole journey would probably be 35 minutes because it takes 15 minutes to walk to the nearest bus stop, which is the main bus stop in Bristol, the bus station.
I see.
And then the bus ride is usually about 20 minutes. And depending on if you get the X4, which drops you really close, or the X1, which drops you about a 10-minute walk away, that's what it's about.
Nice. And if you get there early, you can walk around Ashton Court.
That's true.
Beautiful estate. This is an interesting one. Can you send packages to your uni accommodation before you officially move in?
Not before you officially move in. Once you're actually in, we do have a post service. It works a little bit like a concierge service, I suppose. So you will update your addresses in ASOS and other not sponsored things. So then you order like normal, put your uni address in. You'll then get an email from us in accommodation services saying your package is ready to collect, and then you come and see us and it's done. So it's great. Yeah, but just once you've moved in, not before you've moved in.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, just important to say, if you do have any questions, now is the time to get them in. We've got roughly about 15 minutes before we are gone. So this is a chance to get your questions. Although it does sound like earlier that if you do have any questions, you can ask our lovely accommodation team outside of this. Just on the whole idea of packages and stuff, how does it work if you're just a student, living there, something's came and you're not in? Is there someone to collect it, drop it off at your door?
So we hold on to things for a week, and then we'll probably have to return it to sender. Yeah. We've only got so much room in our post room, but you can nominate a friend or a housemate. Nice. So yeah, if you just email us in, we say, Joe Smith's going to come and pick up my parcel. That's fine, give us their student ID number and we'll just check it.
Good old Joe, reliable neighbour. Have you had any sort of issues with that at all, living in the city centre? And he's like, oh my God, I waited too long, I lost my package, it's gone now.
No, I haven't had an issue because I literally just walked down to the reception area and asked, where's my parcel? I'll give you a parcel.
You're on it sounds like. You're much more on it than I was anyway. Is there a bus pass included with accommodation fees?
So there's not, but as someone who gets the bus every day, they're good value, I think.
Yeah.
My best piece of advice would be use your student card because we do a student discount. I think it's £3.20 a day.
Yeah.
And do a quick little spreadsheet or some maths. Work out how many times you're going to be coming up to campus or going down to the city centre. Work out what the best value is for you. So, I don't go up every day, so I don't buy a week pass.
I see.
That sort of thing. I just buy it on the day. If you download the First mobile app, that's where you can buy your tickets. That's where you can see all the timetables. You can even track where your bus is if it's running late. So it's very handy.
Yeah, that is handy. If you're often late like I am, How about you? Have you found it's best to get a month's pass, or do you just do it day by day? What? advice would you give?
So for me, I did the yearly pass.
Oh, wow.
So
smart.
yeah, it was like a big investment at the start, but I thought it might be cheaper.
Yeah.
I don't know if it has been, I've not figured that out yet, but it's been great using it because I have to travel to so many different filming locations for filmmaking.
Of course.
To be able to just get the bus there, back, whenever I want, it's been perfect for me.
So maybe like consider the course you're studying
Yeah,
at. If you are doing filmmaking, a creative course, you're going to be out of like campus a lot, maybe. But then if you know you're mainly just going to be on French A and you live on French A, there's no real point, is there? How do you pay bills in accommodation, such as Wi-Fi and electric?
Everything's included.
Wow, fantastic.
So it's really great. So your rent includes obviously your rent, and then it includes all of your bills. So that's all your water, all your electricity, all your Wi-Fi, obviously no council tax because you're students, but it also covers the staffing costs. So it covers the maintenance team who are going to come out and look after your broken light bulb or your exploding toilet. Well, hopefully not, but it also looks after the staff in the office, it looks after the post team, it looks after the accommodation managers, it looks after the grounds team that are coming around and mowing the lawn.
Wow.
So that payment that you make in whatever instalment you choose covers absolutely everything. The only thing it doesn't cover is your food.
Is your food, yeah. Fantastic. What happens if you can't afford to pay the £400 accommodation deposit yet? It's a tough one.
That is a tough one, because it is the £400 that will come off of your first month's instalment. So if you, sorry, not your first month's, if your first rent instalment. So if you don't have it, if you can borrow it from someone, you can then pay it back after that instalment is paid, because you'll be paying less, if that makes sense. That's your best bet, but it does need to be the full 400 to secure the room.
I see. So find a way to secure that payment, get your accommodation all guaranteed.
And then it will come back to you in the first instalment.
Fantastic. What is the moving in process like? Slash, what is the first thing you do when you arrive at your accommodation? I guess that can kind of relate to both of you.
So I think they're pretty similar from the city centre to us up at UWE. My job over the summer is to send out lots of emails to really prepare everyone for moving in.
I see.
So I will send you an email about what to pack, what not to pack, what to think about buying as a group, and including in that is like the moving information. So there'll be an induction where after you've done your induction, you can then book your moving in slot. So we try and get people to stick to their arrival slot. You can move in from the Thursday, the Friday, the Saturday and the Sunday. So choose whichever one works best for you guys, and then arrive at that slot. Everything's signposted, so it's like a well-oiled machine on the day. So you arrive, you collect your key, you come round, you park up. We give you 20 minutes, half an hour to offload, because we have got 4,000 people moving in over that weekend. It's quite hectic. 4,000 people. And then you go up to your accommodation, you offload, move the car to the car park that will again be signposted, and then say goodbyes to whoever's moved you in.
Have your emotional cry,
have your little
hug.
Don't forget.
I think when my dad dropped me off, he went, right, see you in a bit.
My dad couldn't speak. And then meet your flatmates. There's loads of events that go on over Welcome Weekend as well. So it's feel a little bit nervous for a little bit and then feel really excited.
And then excited. I feel like nerves and excitement are quite similar emotions anyway. It's hard to distinguish. Was that pretty much your experience moving in, like your first day? Is that what happened in the city centre?
I'd say for the city centre it's the exact same, and it's great because we can use the car park on the moving day, so it just makes it so much easier. But literally just picked up my key card and my fob from the reception and went straight up.
I remember when I first moved into Phoenix Court, I was all nervous, and my dad was helping me carry boxes, and then there were just loads of other young 18-year-olds also looking nervous, and our dads would talk, and I'd just kind of look at them like, hi. So, do you need a guarantor to rent uni accommodation?
So some city centre providers do require a guarantor. Up at UWE managed accommodation, so French and Glenside, we require like a named contact, but they won't be a financial guarantor. So it's just someone that we can get in contact with if something,
an emergency,
goes wrong.
Yeah, fantastic. Can you bring your car if you are living on campus?
You can't if you're at French A and the city centre. I think we all live in the city centre and there's hardly any parking anywhere. So it's leave your car at home if you're at city centre or French A. For Glenside, there are very limited car parking spaces.
Okay.
That's because, again, placement, you might need to get out and about to different hospitals and things like that.
I see.
But that's organised through the car parking team. So that's sort of separate to accommodation, but we'll work with them.
Are you able to sort of sort that out whilst you're applying for your accommodation, or do you have to wait till you moved in?
So if you can make that application, once your offer's all finalised and all secure, then get in contact with the car parking team and the travel team, and I think they have a form online that you can fill out and things like that.
Fantastic. Can you apply for uni accommodation if you are a postgrad student?
If you're a postgrad student who hasn't been to UWE Bristol and lived in our accommodation before, you can. So let's say you're coming from Lincoln and you've done your undergrad and you're coming to UWE to do your postgrad, you're going to do your masters, then yeah, that's absolutely fine. You just have to have not lived here before.
Fantastic, I see. And like, you, obviously, since you live in an accommodation, are you with first years, or are you with some foundation? Do you have any postgrads living with you?
For me, it's all first years.
Oh, that's nice.
No one else.
Do you think that's helped in some kind of way? Everyone's on the same wavelength?
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah, because then everyone's new at everything. But I think you'd probably get on with postgrads as well, and whoever came in.
I see.
Yeah, when we do the allocation, we do try and put everyone together in kind of like the same age bracket. So if you are 35, we're not going to be putting you with 18-year-olds. We're going to be putting you with sort of like 30 to 36-year-olds. That sort of thing. So you're more likely to be with people
in your age range.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Do international students coming from Africa get picked up from the airport and taken to their accommodation?
I believe there is an airport transfer system. It's best to get in contact with our global team on that sort of thing, so they can arrange any transfers for international students. I believe it's Heathrow Airport that they pick up from, maybe Gatwick as well.
Oh, fantastic.
But yeah, check with the global team.
Perfect. And we've only got 10 minutes left, so please, if you do have any questions that you want answered now by our experts, get them submitted. They're all coming to me right on this iPad, so you've got plenty of time. Just get it in. 8 minutes now, actually. We're getting to the crunch time, people. Now, just a bit more of a general question about sort of the accommodations. What are your guys' thoughts on Pearl Down View? Looks very exciting, right?
I love it.
You know, nice big brand new space. I heard there's also a student hub inside of it.
So Pearl Down View, to me, it feels not like student accommodation. It feels like really high-end accommodation that you'd get in the city centre. It's purpose-built to build communities, which is really lovely. Wow. So it's a mixture of different flat sizes. So you could be living with just yourself in a studio. You could be living with 4 other people in one of the premium beds, or up to 8 people in the standards.
Wow.
There's also a mixture of ensuite and shared. If you are in a shared bathroom, you're only sharing with one person, so it's like your next door neighbour basically. But the community rooms and hubs are what's really exciting. So we've got the student life hub, so that's going to be a 2-floor social area with the student life team. They're the people that put on all the events. They put on like giveaways, all that sort of thing. There are sort of social team that go along with it, so they're really excited to move into that a little bit. There's also going to be a move studio, so we're working with the Centre for Sport to put on classes. I really like the idea of like sunrise yoga there, but that might just be me. And then that's also going to change into a cinema room, so it can be used as 2 different things. So we've got loads of bean bags and a pull down projector screen, so we can put on movies. What I'm really excited for is the communal kitchen.
Communal kitchens?
Yeah,
oh, nice.
So it's a really unique thing for UWE that you can book this space, go in with your friends. If you've got like a big birthday, or if you've got a religious ceremony that's going on and you want to celebrate something, then you can book this space. It's a fully equipped kitchen.
Wow.
With a big dining table, and you can just celebrate, or even just have a Sunday roast in there. Do you know what I mean? It looks really nice.
God, I got to be honest, I'm a little bit jealous.
I'm
I feel
jealous.
like I want to.
I'm jealous.
I want to live in Pearl Down View. Is there any room for staff members? You know, if I just pretend to be a first year, if I shave my moustache, I might look HTV. You know, we do have just a few last questions, but I just wanted to quickly just ask you: is there anything you think that as a student, we've missed that you just want to give out there for students? You want to just say, hey, by the way, there's lots of great shops in Bristol, or don't worry, lots of great cafes for you to work in, that type of thing?
I'd say there's a lot of jobs going. I'm always seeing listings. There's a lot of nice things in Bristol, but not only all the shops, there's all the really nice views and stuff. Like you can go up to Clifton Suspension Bridge, watch the fireworks, go to Ashton Court. It's got a lot of advantages to live in there.
Yeah, very true. And like, that's a good point about fireworks, actually. There's loads of places in Bristol that you can see. And just before we get to the last question, I'm just waiting for it to load up now. Can we just remind people how they can get in touch with the accommodation team, how they can contact you if they've missed their question now, how can they ask it to you?
So all our contact details are on our website. But the best way to get in contact with us is our email address. That's accommodation@uwe.ac.uk. You can also give us a phone call. We will be answering everything. We tend to work from about 8 till there's someone in the office until about 6:30, 7 every day. So we're there, we're contacting you, we're answering questions. That's your best bet.
Fantastic. And very last question of this Q&A. Can you move into a different uni accommodation if a place became available because someone moved out of theirs?
We try not to, but obviously everyone is human and that's just a matter of life, that sometimes stuff gets in the way, you have to move out, things happen. We try not to move people, but it is also always a possibility.
Always.
It's just, we deal everything case by case, so keep in contact with us. We'll try and sort it out.
Again, what was the phrase you used earlier?
Oh, I can't remember now, and it was so good.
It was really good, yeah. I feel like that should have been the accommodation tagline. It was like, it's not a guarantee, but it's
consider
something.
everything, promise nothing.
There you go, that's the one, I like that. Now, that is all the time we have today, but thank you so much to the panellists for joining us. Thank you so much for you for tuning in and for giving us your questions, and thanks, of course, to all the technical team that have made this possible. That is it for the live stream. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.